What's up everyone? Welcome to a new investing video from PerFinEx, the #1 English-speaking and independent financial planner in Germany. This month's episode of our community investing is called Buy the Dip, because that's what two of the most successful investors alive are doing right now. And if they are going on a buying spree at current market prices, maybe we want to do that too. The German expression for buy the dip is a lot cooler if you ask me. Kaufen, wenn die Kanonen donnern. Anyone got an idea what that means? The picture right here gives you a small hint. I'm just realizing actually that they're shooting on me. That's what we're discussing today, and if you're not interested in any of the parts, feel free to skip with the timeline here on YouTube to whichever part you're interested in. Let's go. A case got brought to my attention last month that was a little shocking to me, to be honest. Someone opened their Fidelity account on March 7 and did post-ident on March 8. Nothing happened afterwards for weeks. March 22, she reached out to Fidelity asking what the problem is, and they tell her 3 days later the post rejected her identification. For whichever reason, of course without telling her. Of course, without telling us either. We only get a notification email when you complete your online registration. That's it. And then we can see it in our Fidelity interface once your account is open. In between, we can't keep track. So if nothing happens after your online registration, we just assume that you didn't do your video ident or your post ident, which happens quite often, to be honest. In this case, it's different. She did the post ident and got rejected without being notified. For whichever reason. So she went the second time to post, just so that they tell her that the QR code she used to identify herself with is not valid anymore. She asks Fidelity for help, and 4 days later they're like, I don't know, just register online completely from scratch again. She really did, which is incredible of itself. Myself and probably some of you guys would have already gave up. Asks Fidelity if everything is alright this time, and 9 days later Fidelity says no, asking her to start all over again. That's when she finally gave up, rightfully so, and contacted us asking for help, which I am extremely thankful for. Please let me know if you had a similar experience with Fidelity or Post. I am really thankful that she told us so that we can talk to Fidelity about this issue and hopefully solve it. Without her telling us, we would have never found out. You know, responding to clients after weeks with emails that are not productive at all is clearly Fidelity's fault. And I don't give a fuck if they see this video. That's just very bad customer service. For all the rest, it's just German bureaucracy that is very exhausting for every one of us. For my new GmbH, German real estate, I'm in talks with the local court in Munich, the BaFin, our supervisory authority, the notary for over 2 months now, and it feels like I'm getting absolutely nowhere. It's absolutely tiring, and I'm just as sick of this German bureaucracy as you are. Trust me on that one. At least, if you have any problems with Fidelity or Post when opening your investment account, you can reach out to us and we can try to help you. For everyone investing with us already, please log into your Fidelity account and accept the new terms and conditions from Fidelity. Most of you, almost 70%, did already. Thank you for that. What changed? Nothing really. Prices also stayed the same for you. It's just that the European Court decided last year that clients have to actively accept when banks change their terms and conditions. You probably get this with all your German and European banks, either now or in the future. Alrighty, news that are maybe not so positive when it comes to investing. Maybe you've seen this man before. According to my understanding, one of the most powerful people in the world, together with Christine Lagarde, our central bank president. That's Jerome Powell, the chairman of the American Central Bank, Federal Reserve. Today is Thursday, 1 day before this video is released. Yesterday night, the Federal Reserve had a meeting and this is what came out. I think you can clearly see when the meeting started and how the market reacted to the press conference. I still put it in the negative investing news because, and you guessed it, there's more. In order to fight the high inflation, it was expected that the Fed will raise interest rates. A couple of weeks ago, we expected 0.25%. And they did 0.5% now. And markets usually don't really like interest rate increases. And the markets also don't really like uncertainty. And that's why we have the interest rate hikes and the uncertainty that comes with it in the negative news. What the market loved about the meeting notes, and you've seen it in the chart before, is that the Fed isn't considering interest rate hikes by 0.75%. There will be more interest rate increases in the upcoming months by 0.25% or 0.5%, but not by 0.75%. Financial markets get certainty. Financial markets love certainty. Financial markets calm down. Financial markets rise. And that's what you've seen earlier. For months now, we have waited in this video series what our European Central Bank will be doing to fight this high over inflation. And the German ECB director Isabel Schnabel said earlier this week that our central bank will consider raising interest rates in July. Finally, it's about time. Let's hope, for the sake of all of us, that inflation doesn't rise higher until then and that the ECB manages to keep financial markets relatively calm during the next month. And if you would like to fight inflation before the ECB does, check out one of our last videos with the top 5 to-dos how you can protect your hard-earned money against this record inflation. From 2 central bankers to 2 of the most successful investors alive. You might know Warren Buffett, one of the richest people in the world with a net worth of $115 billion. Arguably the most successful investor in human history with his company Berkshire Hathaway. They had their annual meeting last week and turns out that the Oracle of Omaha went on a buying spree. In the first quarter of this year, he bought a record of 51 billion in shares as prices were coming back. He basically perfected what I've been telling you over the last months. Definitely continue investing money or start investing, maybe even a little more than before, but don't dump everything into the market hoping for the best. Not saying that he's watching the videos, but he did it perfectly, and that's why he's the most successful investor in human history. Cathy Wood, that came to stardom over the last years with her tech fund ARK, has one of the worst times in her investing career currently. Not sure if she's smiling right now as she's smiling in the picture here, because in April she's down 30%. 50% down since the start of this year and 70% down since her all-time high in February 2021. But still, after all that, she bought a record of 280 million in stocks in April. She stopped buying at the start of the war and now she continues to invest. And if 2 of the most successful investors alive continue to invest big time, maybe that's a sign we should too. Don't you think? Let's come to our 3 investing strategies that didn't lose 30% in April. Lucky, huh? I don't even want to imagine losing 30% of your guys' money. In fact, our high safety strategy lost 5 euros in April if you would have invested 10,000 euros at the start in August last year. It looks a little volatile going up and down, but it's basically flat. Flat like it was in the month before in March. And flat is actually pretty good right now, to be honest. We'll see what happens in the bond market going forward as interest rates continue to increase, especially important for this investing strategy, as it invests about 70 to 80% in bonds. Our most popular investing strategy, passive income. I told you guys already, I don't like doing these videos when all charts are red. At least we have one green chart today. While the prior high safety strategy is basically flat since August, up 0.5% or so, the passive income strategy is up by 3.5%, especially factoring in the 1.6% in dividends that were paid out. You also got a dividend in April, so this investing strategy is working as well as possible given the current market conditions. High return investing strategy is the one strategy that got hammered in April. Not Cathy Wood's minus 30% hammered, because we're not investing in tech only, but still minus 5%, which I would like to recoup as soon as possible. The minus 5% month means we're overall in the negative now since August with minus 3.7%. Adding the almost 2% in dividends we got so far leaves us with minus 1.8% since the start in August last year. It's certainly not what anybody of us wanted. We would all love to make tremendous gains month over month, but we also don't want a war or 7% inflation. If you would like to join our investing community, you can open your personal investment account completely free online with the link in the description. You don't need the plus account, the regular one is fine. And even though it says it's gonna cost you, at the end, it's not. Opening your account is completely free of charge. After registration, you'll get an email from Fidelity that you should identify yourself, either online with video ident or offline with post ident. This step is very important given the story that we heard earlier today. So please complete your application process, including the identification if you would like to invest with us. Hopefully it works. If Post or Fidelity is super German and rejects your identification for whichever reason, feel free to reach out and we'll try to help. After you finish the identification, it usually takes Fidelity a day or two to open your investment account. We'll see it before you do because we can see it electronically and you have to wait for your login details to arrive by post. In that time, we will reach out so we can book a meeting and discuss the perfect investing strategy for your personal financial situation. Wish us all a lot of gains in May. See you next month, guys.